Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be talking about requirements to being a flight attendant, or flight attendant requirements. So I know a lot of you are going to start applying because a lot of airlines are going to start opening up for next year's round of hiring. So if you want to see if you have what it takes to becoming a flight attendant, then let's see. So for starters, education. Most airlines require that you have a high school diploma or the GED equivalent. Now, even though college degrees are not required, having an associate's or bachelor's degree does give you a leg up on the competition. But don't fret if you do not have a college degree. Just make sure you have tons of experience in customer service and kind of pad your resume with that, because you need to make up for what some of your competitors may actually have. Now, speaking of customer service, it is required that you have at least 2 years experience, if not more, which I highly recommend more, obviously. This is a competitive industry, so obviously the more customer service experience you have, the better off you're gonna look. Okay, now as far as age goes, there is no maximum age. All ages can apply, and all ages do apply. But unfortunately, as far as minimum age goes, there is one. So most main lines only hire 21 years and older. I do know that American Airlines and some of the other ones now hire 20 years and older, which is great, but you are serving alcohol, so most do require 21 years. Although regional carriers a lot of times will hire 18 years and older. So if you are 18 years old and fresh out of high school and you want to get into this industry, I definitely recommend that you find some of the regional carriers that will take your age group and go ahead and get your foot into the door. Okay, so now height. And this is where regional and mainline do differ again. So most flight attendants, I would say, are about 5 foot to about 6'2". They say 5'2" to 6'2", but I know that's not true because I'm 5 foot. Now for your regionals, they do allow shorter heights because they are smaller planes, but there are also height caps because they are smaller planes. So I think if you're over like 5'10" or so, a lot of regionals will tell you need to apply with the mainline because their planes are so small and they don't want you having to duck, and in an emergency, it's just easier for a shorter person to go ahead and get through the plane quicker. Now, with mainline, it's actually the opposite. They do tend to like taller people because the overhead bins are higher, so some of the safety equipment is also higher. So it's actually harder when you're shorter to be with a mainline. Now I am 5 foot, and so obviously people of 5 foot can be at both because I've been at both. So you will have a reach test for both regional and mainline. And some airlines require you to take off your heels for women and get against a wall and reach up into the overhead bin. And I know for like my mainline, I remember we had to touch like part of a fire extinguisher to make sure that you can grab it and everything like that. I can't quite remember what my regional's height test was, but it was something very similar. So basically you're up against a wall, you can't be on your tippy toes, and you have to reach whatever it is. Now for those of you who are too short, try regional. For those of you who are too tall, go for a mainline. But most of the time that 5'2" to 6'2" range actually is pretty accurate. Now weight requirements. So we no longer have to do weigh-ins anymore. So for those of you who do remember those good old days, flight attendants did have to do weigh-ins every single week. And if you missed your weigh-ins one too many times, you were suspended from flying. And then if you missed it too many times after that, you could be terminated. So that, thank goodness, no longer exists. But you do have to do a jump seat test. So basically the jump seat test is you are going to sit into a jump seat, and usually the straps cannot expand and you cannot have to get an extender on the seatbelt, and you have to buckle it comfortably. So that way you fit comfortably, and in the case of an emergency, you can get out of that jump seat in and out very quickly. So with neither my regional nor my mainline did we have vision or hearing tests. I don't know if some of the airlines do, but I do know if you do wear glasses, you are still allowed to be a flight attendant. Another thing that a lot of airlines require is that you can lift 40 to 50 pounds. Now I know this might seem like a little bit odd, but it is because you are going to be lifting your suitcase up into the overhead bins pretty much every day, multiple times a day. And trust me, those suitcases are not light, especially when you're on 4-day trips. But the other reason for this is because of emergencies. In the case of an emergency, if you are opening some of those window exits, you do have to completely lift them off and over and set them down. Now they do teach you how to do this without putting a ton of weight on your back, but you are still lifting that. And some of those door exits are not power assist, so they do require some muscle. So they do want you to be able to lift 40 to 50 pounds at least. Okay, now I have talked about appearance in so many of my videos, but I feel like this video kind of constitutes some of it as well. So as far as tattoos go, they are not allowed to be visible. So I do know that some of the airlines are relaxing a little bit, and they are allowing you to cover them up with makeup, but that's very few. A lot of airlines still will do a complete image check to make sure that you do not have tattoos that are visible. Even if you could cover them up with a band-aid or makeup, you are still not allowed to have them. And most of the time when you are applying, they will show you a chart and highlight the chart on where tattoos are not allowed to be. Again, that is starting to relax a little bit, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, now hair. Unfortunately, in this industry, you are not allowed to have any unnatural colors. So any of those pinks, blues, and purples that you may love, myself included, we are not allowed to have them. Now, as far as hairstyles, you are not allowed to have any crazy hairstyles either. Now, ladies, if you do have hair to your shoulders, it is allowed to be down and well groomed. If it is beyond your shoulders, it must be completely pulled back with flyaways and everything like that included. So it's usually pressed back. And that's just because when you're serving food and stuff, you don't want your hair in it, and you're usually like this, getting like stuff out of the cart. So even sometimes people with short hair will bring bobby pins so that you can just kind of push it back while you're doing service. Now, some more grooming standards, some which can seem a little bit weird to some people, but they are true, is you do need a full complement of teeth, and they will expect that. Another thing is your nails need to be one color, preferably no crazy colors, short and well groomed, obviously no dirt or anything underneath your natural nails. Now for men, if you do have facial hair, if it is not completely grown out and well groomed, and it is a little bit patchy, which men, be honest with yourselves, if it is a little bit patchy, they are going to require that you shave it. And if you're just now growing your beard out and you just have that 5 o'clock shadow, they're going to make you shave it. So just really be mindful of that. And for women, some airlines require certain things of makeup as far as blush, mascara, lipstick, things of that nature. So even though some airlines may not require you to wear makeup, others may. So when you are applying, if you're not a makeup girl, either you need to start watching some YouTube makeup artists, or you need to figure out which airlines do not require you to wear makeup. So another thing that I've talked about a lot is flexibility. And trust me, you need a ton of it, especially a flexible schedule. You will be required to work a lot of weekends and holidays, especially starting out. So really think about that and think about how that's gonna feel. Because as flight attendants, we spend a lot of time away from our families and friends, especially on Christmas and Thanksgiving and birthdays and weddings and everything. So other people can get to theirs. So really think on how that's going to make you feel and your family feel, and understand if you're ready for that kind of commitment. Because I can promise you, when you're starting out, you're most likely going to be working those dates. So it's just part of this industry that's not always smiles and giggles, and you're not always compensated very, very well to work weekends and holidays. So really don't think, well, oh, the holiday pay is just gonna make it worth it. Well, a lot of times that holiday pay is not that great. And that feeling when you are away from your family is tough. And just get ready for it, because that is a requirement of this job. But to me, everything in this job makes up for that and more. So definitely consider if that's something that you are willing to do. Now, fortunately, there are rules that they used to have on flight attendants that they no longer have. For example, you can have kids, you can be married, and you can even be flying while pregnant to an extent. Now, at a point, they are going to tell you to stop flying for the safety of yourself and your baby, but you can actually be pregnant while being a flight attendant. Now, you do need to be able to pass a criminal background check. That background check is going to go back at least 10 years. It is an intense background check, and they will find everything out. Now, obviously, if you have a ticket, like a parking ticket or something, that's not so much as what they're worried about. The other thing you need to be able to pass is a drug test. So make sure to be on your best behavior if you want this job. Another thing that they will be doing is a background on your social media. So even though it is not required, I highly recommend, if you have something that you do not want your company to see, you take it down. And to be honest, that's probably for the best anyways. Okay, I hope you learned a ton from this video today. If you did like this video, then go ahead and press the thumbs up button. I post a lot of travel videos, specifically flight attendant videos. So if you are looking for more information, then go ahead and subscribe down to my channel and turn the bell on. That way you can be notified every single time I post videos. So if you are looking to become a flight attendant, I wish you all the best. And if you do need more information, or you want to see me make certain videos, then go ahead and comment it down below. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you'll have a great day. Bye.